Hey folks, Happy New Year to everyone. I wanted my first video of 2024 to have a slightly different tone to it, and in recent weeks, I began to notice a trend that doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So I figured, why not focus on this trend and lean a little more positively this week? Basically, has anyone else noticed that people are becoming less afraid to speak up against things we clearly see as lunacy being masqueraded as normal? Now, I'm not saying any of you necessarily need to agree with all or even some of these victories, as I'm calling them. But what we can surmise from all this is the lack of giving a crap about what people who care not one bit about us think about what we think about them. Make sense? Then let's go on a little journey, shall we? Hey folks, your resident man in black is back again for a new edition of the best kept secret in the conservative movement, things that need to be said. For MRC-TV, I'm Kangadis. Really quick, head on over to Rumble, subscribe to our channel, and hit that like button. And no matter where you watch our videos, please share, like, and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I actually read what you guys have to say, and I occasionally respond, so don't be shy. Now, on with the show. Now, in terms of pulling down the curtain on the great and powerful Oz, otherwise known as the establishment government and elite, who also run the propaganda media, we can thank one man for making it acceptable to push back against them on a routine basis. He used their own term, fake news, against them and flipped it to make the term their new name. But this interaction in 2018 between Donald Trump and serial pain-in-the-ass Jim Acosta is a great summation of Trump's signal to everyone else that these people aren't as Teflon as they've made themselves out to be over the decades.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not
like
a big
the rest
fan of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly
said... You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of the...
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis not only took on perennial groomer Disney, but also took up the mantle of defending and promoting the truth in the face of propaganda establishment media lies, particularly during the whole COVID theater play. But it was after a deadly terrorist drove an SUV through a Christmas parade, remember, in Wisconsin, killing many people, that DeSantis felt it necessary to not only call the media out, but also list their deliberate lies to push what we all know now were false narratives.
And we'll see what the actual motivation was. It very well may have been in response to what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse, and you have to wonder if that's the case. Almost assuredly, this guy's view of Rittenhouse was colored by all these media lies. He brought a rifle across state lines. That's a lie. They said that the initial altercation with Jacob Blake, that Blake was unarmed. That's a lie. They covered up Blake's criminal history. And then they said that Rittenhouse shot. And first of all, when you're self-defense, it doesn't matter, kind of what race. But they would say that he shot. Most people didn't know that he shot 3 white people. People thought. So that's what the media has been doing. And they tend to point a target on law enforcement's back. But this is just wrong. And these lies have got to stop. And if it doesn't fit your narrative, sweeping the facts under the rug is not doing the service that people deserve.
And if you want something more recent, look at Vivek Ramaswamy's almost daily owning of the media and their spin, specifically in an exchange with a Washington Post reporter who attempted a gotcha question, almost demanding that Vivek toe the atheistic religious cult line of wokeism. Here he is, after already saying that he's against vicious racial discrimination no matter who the target is.
You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. question. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division.
And then there's Nikki Haley. She took on transgenderism in the last year or so, and she got in on the action too.
How do we let our girls think it's okay for biological boys to be in their locker rooms? Y'all know about Dylan Mulvaney? Bud Light? Make no mistake. That is a guy dressed up like a girl making fun of women. Women don't act like that. And you've got companies glorifying that.
But this pushback hasn't been limited to politicians. Most recently, because of the racial narrative falsely pushed by elites in defense of one of their own, in the case of now former Harvard Dean Dr. Claudine Gay. Even John Lennon's son, Sean, pushed back against the real culprit in the situation, everyone's favorite collegiate religion, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Have you guys heard of DEI? It stands for dumb, evil idiots. To make a long story short, the people who claim to be fighting institutional racism are doing so by creating institutional racism, and absolutely no one should be surprised by this. Now, Lennon has apparently deleted the post to X, so shame on him for seemingly not standing by his words, but when a Lenin bashes your Marxist ideological religion, you know you might have taken a wrong turn somewhere. Comedian Dave Chappelle, who I would personally put on my Mount Rushmore of comedians, even though I don't agree with everything he says, has faced perhaps some of the most vile cancellation attempts at the very confused hands of trans people. Apparently, the Alphabet Mafia are the only people, especially the T's, who can't handle a joke at their expense. Chappelle's made plenty of jokes about white people over the years, but you don't see me calling for him to be removed from society. And why? Because Chappelle does two things very well. He makes the taboo funny, no matter who it's directed at, and he makes fun of every segment of the population, because he's an observer of life. All life. Now, does that mean you're going to agree with everything he says? Of course not. But even with the jokes directed perhaps at you, whoever or whatever you are, he at least attempts to make it funny even for the people the joke is directed towards. Hear that, modern woke female comedians?
Vagina. Vagina. Vagina's vagina. 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 Vagina.
Just do women's comedy stuff, talk about how fat you are and how you want to have sex with guys and then say, my vagina a lot.
Anyway, here's a now classic clip of Chappelle calling out the very people, some even in the audience he's performing for, that think because they complain on social media in mob-like fashion that they control what people can or can't say.
I want to see if you can guess who it is I'm doing an impression of. All right, let me get into character. You gotta guess who it is, though. Okay, here it goes. Hey, if you do anything wrong in your life, and I find out about it, I'm gonna try to take everything away from you. And I don't care when I find out. Could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're finished. Who's that? That's you. That's what the audience sounds like to me. That's why I don't be coming out doing comedy all the time, because y'all is the worst motherfuckers I've ever tried to entertain in my fucking life.
Look at Jim Gaffigan, who does lean left. Even he called out the pieces of garbage that make up the bulk of Hollywood. He said this just last night at the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes. I mean, I can't even believe I'm in the entertainment industry. I can't. It's so unlikely. I'm from a small town in Indiana. I'm not a pedophile. I don't know if that's a new category here, but...
Think about it. Liberals are even becoming more emboldened than ever before to say some things at times that they wouldn't normally say if they wanted to continue working regularly in the industry. Remember Ricky Gervais and what he said as the host of the Globes a few years ago?
Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and...
It rings as true today as it did then. That's why Gervais didn't even show up to accept the first ever Golden Globe Award for Best Stand-Up Performance. And in one final example, stand-up comedian Matt Rife was recently the target of cancellation because he made a joke about domestic abuse. Forget that he made jokes about a ton of different segments of people. That's okay, and it actually is okay. But they get all upset over perhaps the most benign joke of his entire new Netflix special. In response, Rife posted his apology to Instagram, which was a link to a medical equipment website advertising helmets for special needs people.
I don't care who you're at, funny, right?
It also helps that there are many content creators and podcasters in general that have been carrying the mantle of free speech and bucking the system for years now. And it doesn't matter how you feel about any of these names. It doesn't take away from the fact that they've generally been fearless when it comes to the mob, like Carl Benjamin, Paul Joseph Watson, Tim Pool, Styx Hexenhammer, Steven Crowder, Roseanne Barr, Tom McDonald, Razor Fist, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Adam Calhoun, Mark Dice, Michael Malice, Russell Brand, Nick DiPaolo, Nerdrotic, Ryan Cannell, and Tucker Carlson. I apologize if I missed anyone, but I've only got so much time and I named a heck of a lot of people. It's a growing community, however, and you can be a part of it if you want to. All you need to do, and I'm not saying you have to, this is no call to action, but all you need to do is not be afraid when someone brings up a certain topic. They asked for your opinion. If they don't like the answer, that's on them. Maybe they shouldn't have asked, and they don't have to like it. It's simply the truth. So, are the overlords going to come for me? Do I care even if they do? Or were these simply things that needed to be said? Let me know what you think in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Rumble and hit that like button. If you like this video, don't forget to share, comment, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video if they haven't censored it or taken it down yet. Like us on Facebook, check out more of our work at MRCTV.org, and if you want to support our content and the conservative movement, head on over to MRC.org/donate to help us out, since we're a nonprofit and couldn't do what we do without all of you. For MRC TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.